Vikings morning show. And we've got the lovely and talented, thanks to our friends at Bell Bank, Tom Pelissero, on with us right now from his palatial mansion where he's got a cast of thousands out shoveling his driveway to make sure he can get out and make it to the airport to get to some undisclosed location for football this weekend. Tom Pelissero, how are you, my friend?
I'm not going to lie. I drove the kids to the bus stop today. I did not exit the car. I have not really felt any of the wind and the elements out there, but it looks pretty nasty. I can see it out the window right now. It's finally, it's December 19th. We've avoided this to this point other than Halloween. So you take the winds where you can get them.
Now, I like this move by you because I'm sure your kids' school is delayed 2 hours, but you're like, just go. You drive them there, you make them wait in the snow.
No delays.
No? Oh,
My daughter tried to convince me walking back to the bus stop yesterday that they had already canceled school today. She deadpanned it for several minutes. She's like, I already got at-home learning. Dad, it's canceled. I'm like, what? You would have told me.
Yeah.
She had me going all the way. She's like, I'm just kidding. I'm just hoping it's canceled. I'm like,
brilliant.
That's messed up.
Yeah, last night I was saying goodnight to the kids, and they're like, well, I mean, we're not going to have school tomorrow. I'm like, I don't think that right now. You're setting yourself up for disaster because you think that you're going to sleep in and you're probably going to have school. And I think as we speak right now, they're going to school.
Here's the thing, though.
Is the deal just that, we never got nearly as many days off as my kids do now, right?
Yeah.
You had MEA weekend,
right,
and then you had 10 days over winter break. Now it's they got 4 different 5-day weekends through the fall. Are they just burning all the off days and so they can't use the snow days? Is that what's happening?
I have no idea, but I will say this, and I have, hey, listen, make them go to school, whatever you got to do. But it is a crime that they make them do at-home learning on snow days, man, because how much fun was a snow day back in the day? Now they got to go to school even they're at home. Yeah. That's terrible. Let them watch Price is Right and throw snowballs at the dog, right? Wow. Come on.
Go walk down to Mr. Movies, rent a Nintendo game, play it for literally 12 hours straight.
Hell yeah.
Amen, brother.
Days.
That's living.
Chris, you were talking about somebody shoveling Tom Pelissero's driveway, right? Famously, there were people that were shoveling Kirk Cousins' driveway when he was the quarterback for the Vikings. My guess is that Darnold did not buy a house here. My guess is he's got some fancy condo for the year as a one-year bridge quarterback.
Probably, yeah.
I wonder where Sam lives, and if so, could somebody shovel the apartment building's sidewalk or something?
All these NFL players getting robbed during games, Corey. Let's not give the exact coordinates on Google Maps to anybody, even if they're trying to be good Samaritans here.
That has been a problem, hasn't it? Wow.
Yeah. How about even Glenn Mason last night was on with Barrero saying that he was at Army Navy and somebody threw a brick through his window or something and was about to rob his house until the alarm went off and they scattered. What's going on right now?
Well, there's a South American crime syndicate that the FBI believes is responsible for a lot of the burglaries of professional athletes. It's hit the NBA players. It's hit a variety of people here in the Twin Cities, some of which have been public, some of which have not. And it's a massive issue. I mean, they basically use property records and social media to figure out where you live, when you're out of the house, because everybody posts in real time on social media, even though you should not do that. And then they are in and out before the security systems can bust them. So they go straight to the master bedroom. If you got cash, jewelry, watches lying around, like I know Corey does, that's the stuff they're going to steal. They're not going to unscrew the TV from the wall. They're just going to grab whatever they can and get out. And it's really hard to catch them.
Honestly, as long as they leave my TV, take anything else you want.
Right.
That's my prized possession, Sauce. Don't give me that look.
They broke into my house. I haven't said this yet. They broke into my house and actually felt bad and left stuff for me. That was sweet of them. They left some jewelry. It was the cutest ever.
It looked like you just ordered stuff from Temu anyway.
Yeah.
You think they come in like Santa Claus with a sack of goodies?
And then they Homer Simpson their way out.
Chris will love all this.
Yeah, he'll love it. Yeah, he ordered it anyway.
This one's for Abby.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Tom, let me ask you the question I just asked Ben a couple minutes ago. What do you think happens with Kirk Cousins next year?
Well, this is a really unique and complicated situation because to give you the broad strokes of Kirk Cousins' contract, it's 4 years, $180 million. There was $90 million fully guaranteed over the first 2 years, and then there's another $10 million in 2026 that becomes fully guaranteed if he's on the roster on the 5th day of the 2025 league year. So March 16th, this coming March 16th, if he's still on the roster, an additional $10 million would become fully guaranteed. So that's really the trigger point here. The Falcons don't have to do anything prior to that. Uh, they already are paying Kirk Cousins $62.5 million this season. The other 27.5 in those first 2 years is out in next year, which is not a bad number. Well, we'll talk about Kirk's performance in a second and whether anybody's going to want to pay him that money here. But that, as a starting quarterback goes, that is, lower third starting quarterback money. But Cousins also has a no trade clause, and so he can effectively veto a trade anywhere and just say, I'm not doing it, either pay me or cut me. Now, the Falcons can't really call the bluff because, again, you got another $10 million that would become fully guaranteed out into 2026. And so they have to make a decision relatively soon, within the first 4 days of the league year. From a cap perspective, this is all a mess because if you cut him and you don't use a post-June 1 designation, not only do you have to pay him the $27.5 million, which you have to regardless of what designation you use, because much like Russell Wilson last year, a new team's basically just going to give him the minimum. So you're going to pay him 27.5 minus like $1 million in offsets here. But you'd have a $65 million dead number on your cap in 2025 if you don't use the designation. If you do use the post-June 1 designation, it's flat for 2025. You still have to pay him the cash, but basically he's still on the books for $40 million cap-wise in 2025. But then there's an additional $25 million dead cap hit that you got to deal with in 2026. The best option for the Falcons is clearly do whatever it takes to trade Kirk Cousins. Work with him, perhaps eat some of that money. But the problem is you're not going to be able to get value in all likelihood in a Cousins trade, because you can just say, like, there's only one place he's going to go, and the other team can say, well, why are we going to do that? You're going to have to cut him. So the Falcons are in a really, really difficult spot here. And it's part of why you've never seen in NFL history, certainly the recent NFL history of 20 plus years that I've been covering it, a team put together a quarterback room the way that the Falcons did, giving one guy $100 million guaranteed. And then 6 weeks later, minutes after he's on stage and Cousins is, whipping the towel and getting everybody fired up at the draft party, you draft the guy who's going to take his job with the 8th overall pick. We were always going to get to this point. It was, in the Falcons' mind, it was going to be perhaps after this season, where Cousins might be playing well enough that you could have more leverage in terms of a trade. Maybe you got multiple parties, multiple teams that he's willing to go to. Instead, Cousins just played badly. And I know that everybody's referring to it as the last 5 games here. It's really the last 3 games, because they're on a 5-game skid. And yes, the 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions. But the first 2 games from that skid really weren't terrible. It was the Broncos game where they played well around Cousins and he didn't play well. And then it was the game against the Vikings. And then it was this past Monday night against the Raiders. And the issues for Kirk Cousins, I heard what Ben said. And definitely, there's been are they doing the best thing for him? We also saw the week 1 game where they didn't run any play action, but they seem to be figuring it out. Now, when you watch Cousins, the thing that he's always been good at is see it and rip it. Just, where the ball's got to go. One pat, throw the ball. Now you see him patting the ball and he's, backpedaling and throwing it off his back foot. What the Falcons saw with Cousins, and really this has been all season, is he's not mobile at all. Not that Kirk was ever a runner, but he is completely playing within the pocket. He's not a threat to get out, which maybe is influencing how much they're calling some of the bootlegs and things that Cousins has been really good at. And then also, he's never had like an A-plus arm, but the arm seems to have diminished too. So you take away, the deep ball, which has been a strength for Cousins, and then you take away just the ability to extend plays even within the pocket, and you're left with a guy who's never been the biggest or the biggest armed or, had the stature that you see in quarterbacks, but he's been able to process with his mind. Once that seems to not be completely dialed up either, and whether that's the scheme, I don't know enough about, offenses and progressions and things to tell you what it is. But once you're not, processing at an elite level, all those physical limitations start to catch up to you. They've been trying to scheme around it through the course of the season. They got to a point where, even though Raheem Morris didn't say this directly, you get the sense they felt like the rest of the locker room was looking at this and saying, we're all being held accountable. The quarterback is only still playing because you're paying him so much money. and you got this other guy that we really like, who's a different style of player, who maybe can give us a bump here. They felt like they had to make a move that, by no means, regardless of what they did back in the spring, they never expected we'd be going into week 16. And not only do they need help to get into the playoffs, but they're benching the quarterback that they signed for big money.
So you basically, I mean, you're kind of answering the question I was going to have you kind of take
That's what I aim to do.
poke,
No retease,
a poke
just
at.
blast it all out.
But it's fascinating to me because I really want to know, like, where does the fault lie? Because we go back a year ago and Kirk Cousins was on an MVP run before he got hurt. And now some people the Kirk haters might want to, disprove that and not like that. But the facts are the facts. Like, he was playing at a really, really high level when he got injured. And so now you're trying to, not you, I'm just saying the people around are trying to convince me that after an Achilles injury, which, a lot of guys come back from pretty good. I mean, you look at Cam Akers is doing a heck of a job, and he's had 2 of them, and he still runs the ball really well. So you're telling me that this guy comes off of an Achilles injury, and all of a sudden now he doesn't have a strong arm, he can't move very well, his processing is slower. I'm like, how is this guy diminished this much in one calendar year off of one injury? That's why I feel like the blame has to lie, at least in the scheme, the lack of coaching. Maybe it's not as high level coaching as he got here, but I'm going to put a little bit of on Kirk. But man, it just seemed like it was a square peg in a round hole right from the very get-go.
Well, first of all, Kevin O'Connell's an unbelievable coach, and you're seeing that every single day right now with what he's doing with Sam Darnold. But to micro focus on Kirk, you got to remember too, he's 36 years old, and there's a lot of medical studies that will tell you 2 things. One, you're never going to be as good your first year coming off an Achilles as you are in the second year and the third year and beyond. And 2, guys over age 30, the recovery back to full prior performance is lower.
Amen.
So you've got an older player who's coming off a significant injury that most guys don't look right the year after. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. It's some of the same things. Aaron's older. He's 41. But, the Aaron Rodgers that we've seen extending outside the pocket and making things happen, that guy's not there. He's getting better. Last week was by far the best game that he's played in a Jets uniform. But it's taken quite a while. Now he's well over a year removed from the Achilles surgery. For Kirk, I think that, again, I just go back to his brain has been his superpower. It's been the ability to see it. That's why he also threw a lot of interceptions early in his career, was he would see things and he'd rip it, and sometimes it was the wrong read. But he played with, just kind of this fearlessness and this trust in his abilities to mentally be faster than everybody on the field. Again, I don't know where to cast the blame. I know Zach Robinson is really highly regarded in that building with the Falcons. It's his first year as a play caller, so he's absolutely learning on the go. And he's also trying to figure out, again, how to adapt around some of these limitations that they've seen physically from Cousins at this stage in his career. I am not an expert in quarterback play. Ben, you know a lot more than me in terms of watching the game and seeing where, who is the correct read and things like that on the play. But I know this, when you play like the low light reel from last week of Cousins, every play you're looking at it and he's holding the ball, he's patting the ball, he's starting to backpedal, he's throwing, across his body where he's stepping one way and throwing the other way. Those to me are signs that, again, I can't tell you exactly where the blame lies, but these are signs that a guy who always knew where to go with the football in his days in Washington and Minnesota, right now he doesn't seem confident in knowing where the ball needs to go, or perhaps he's not as confident in his ability to get it there. It's a combination of a lot of different factors. And it all leads us to the reality that now, again, we've seen a few of these this year. Bryce Young got benched, came back in, played better. Anthony Richardson got benched, came back in, has played marginally better, more competent, hasn't tapped out of a game, all those things. Cousins, maybe this is bad with Penix. Maybe he plays poorly and they put Cousins back in. The difference is you got 3 weeks left, and a poor Penix performance probably means a loss, and you're out of it in the playoffs. At that point, why would you put Cousins back on the field, risk an injury that could force you to pay him another $10 million? You never can say never. Maybe Penix, struggles enough that they decide, Kirk, we're going to keep you around. and we're going to have the two of you both on the roster in 2025. You can't ever say that anything is not going to happen in the NFL, but it certainly seems like Kirk Cousins is going to be looking for a new home in 2025. And then you just ask yourself, based on what we've seen from him this season, is there a Russell Wilson style renaissance out there for him? Or is he a guy who, this is pretty close to the end of the line for him?
One more quick one, Saucy.
Quickly, do you think eventually the Lions just can't outscore everybody because of how banged their defense is?
Well, the defense that was going to catch up with them eventually. Almost the entire front seven is out. And I can't remember a lot of teams with that level of injury in one position group. Then you lose Carlton Davis, who's your top corner, to a broken jaw of all things. I mean, it's incredible. There are guys, and I give Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell a lot of credit to this point, because they're putting guys out there that I don't know who they are. They literally have signed like 5 guys off other teams' practice squads in the past few weeks and played them. And they've had to, because, we're past the trade deadline. They traded for Zadarius Smith to, help make up for losing Aiden Hutchinson. But there's not just dudes out there on the street right now. It's too late to trade for anybody. It puts them in a really difficult position unless, down the stretch here. I know there's been discussion about would the Dolphins release a Calais Campbell if they're out of it. Well, I think that, the Lions would be making, blowing up his phone immediately if there's somebody who drops out there. But you have to find a way. In terms of can they outscore everyone, I would tend to believe yes, because they've shown that they can score 40 plus basically every single week. Losing David Montgomery, whether that ends up being for the rest of the season or for several weeks, that's going to hurt them. But you heard Dan Campbell, on the radio the other day, and I don't know if you guys saw the video. I did enjoy, the guy who lurches for the dump button that he probably hasn't had to use in a year, and it clearly doesn't work. And then he just gives look like, not me. It's not on me. Let's let him roll here. Dan Campbell's the right guy for this job in terms of, hey, we're going to embrace these challenges. He's not somebody who's ever going to sulk and be woe is me on this thing. But they got a lot of things they got to figure out here. And so if you're the Vikings, a team that has gotten no help through this entire season, and you're winning all these games, and the Lions just keep winning, they lose in a shootout against the Bills, and all of a sudden you control your path to the number 1 seed. You take care of business in Seattle, which is going to be, a tough game. Geno Smith is banged up, tough place to play, but that's a game that, you've got to find a way to win. You win that one. You beat the Packers at home, which is also a difficult game. And then you're going to Detroit with a chance to win the division and also potentially become the number 1 seed, depending what happens with the Eagles the next 3 weeks, and also some of the tiebreakers here. I mean, this is a lot of variability for the Vikings over the next several weeks when you're talking about the difference between being, again, depending what happens in the Packers game, being the 5 or even the 6 seed in the NFC and going on the road to a place like Tampa where they're scoring a ton of points right now, maybe going to an Atlanta, depending on how things shake out, maybe having to go back to Seattle or go to Arizona or go to the Rams. Big difference between that and having the number 1 seed and kicking back and having a week to rest your bumps and bruises, and then hosting a divisional playoff game and being 1 step away from the conference championship. So there's a lot on the line still for the Vikings these next few weeks. They seem to be peaking at the right time. Offense was a little bumpier this past week against the Bears than it had been the previous week. But, this is a Minnesota team that's risen to every challenge. There's a reason that Kevin O'Connell won Coach of the Year honors going away in the poll I conducted of other executives this past week. He's done an outstanding job. These next 3 weeks are what, people are going to remember in terms of how the Vikings finish this season, how they set themselves up for what they hope is a deep playoff run.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
See you, fellas.
There he goes. And of course, as always, he is brought to you by our friends at Bell Bank. Thank you, Bell Bank. And here's the thing. You want to go to KFAN.com and nominate your charity of choice because of the Pay It Forward program. Again, KFAN.com, just type in the keyword Bell, submit the name of your favorite charity, and KFAN each week is going to choose one lucky listener to give $1,000 of the Pay It Forward charity program from Bell Bank to the charity of choice. And we have had some nominations. Thank you all for participating. This week, Jessica Manatee, I'm not sure, Maneti, nominated Rescue 55021. They provide lifelong care for Minnesota animals through rescue, rehabilitation, foster care, placement in forever homes, or end-of-life comfort care. working to promote and provide loving, caring foster homes as well as reduce the pet population and help educate the public on responsible pet ownership. Thank you, Rescue55021.com. And thank you, Jessica. And thank you, Bell Bank, for not only sponsoring .com Tom Pelissero, but for paying it forward at all times. We appreciate you. We love you.
More with Ben Lieber and the rest of the Power Trip Morning Show coming up in a second. We'll do Fan 5. We'll do headlines in the 8 o'clock hour. That's after this on The Fan.
It's a Power Trip snow day on The Fan.
KFAN, Total Traffic.
Internet that's everything you imagine, and then some. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Sign up today and get internet with a price for life. Keep your internet service monthly rate for as long as you keep your plan. Internet service monthly rate subject to continued plan availability.
Take up to 60% off select mattresses and more. Plus, get a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Shop today for free and fast delivery. Restrictions apply.
Luther and LutherAuto.com. They will buy your vehicle at Luther. A lot of you are stuck in your car right now, maybe out on the roads, and you're saying, do I even like this vehicle at all? Well, if you have already decided mentally that you are done with the vehicle you're currently driving, if you want to sell it, there's a lot of ways to do it. The easiest way, though, the most stress-free way, the hassle-free way, is to drive it into a Luther location and just ask for an offer. They'll give you an offer in like 15 or 20 minutes. That process is fast. It's simple. It's safe. They are looking at Luther for all makes, all models, and all price ranges. So if you think your vehicle's worth thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, they want to see it. They want to make an offer. They have the largest inventory in the state of Minnesota. They always are looking to add to it. And the best
651 Carpets Plus. We bring the showroom to you. Come on in. Here's how your free in-home estimate works. We bring you all the latest and greatest styles to complement your home. We use our state-of-the-art measuring system so we can give you the best price for your project on the spot. And we have thousands of products that you could have installed the next day. Call 651 Carpets Plus for your free in-home estimate.
Or Huggy Hoop earrings that tell her,
See, I was listening.
come to the Hellsberg Holiday Sale and get up to 50% off select engagement rings and fine jewelry. A perfect gift designed with the love and care worthy of your story. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Hey, Rosie here. Now is the perfect time to get a big deal on a brand new Honda. That's because your Honda dealer is loaded with new inventory. That means more Pilots, more CRVs, more HRVs, more Accords, more Civics, and more great deals for you. But don't wait. For big deals on America's best brand, hurry into your Greater Twin Cities Honda dealer today.
Based on 2023 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
Standard Water repairs foundations. Cracks in your basement walls, bowing walls, or settling foundation? Standard Water is the foundation repair expert since 1977. Free basement foundation repair and waterproofing estimates at standardwater.com. Standardwater.com.
Guys, give her the gift she really wants for the holidays, jewelry from Arthur's Jewelers. Come see me, Tyler No Guy, and I'll help you choose the perfect gift from our incredible collection, including top American-made brands. And I'll gift wrap it. All you have to do is put it under the tree. At Arthur's, we make it easy.
Ben's Appearance is sponsored by Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood.
This report is sponsored by Goodwill Easter Seals.
Fan forecast.
It's hell out there. A lot of snow. Stay safe.
Advance your career, advance you. In just 10 weeks, you can fast track a career in the financial industry, earn essential certification and credentials, and get career coaching at no cost with Goodwill Easter Seals Minnesota's financial industry training. Visit gesmn.org/join to get started today.
Carl Anthony Towns and the Knicks are in town to face the Wolves. Hear it live tonight at 8:30 through the Timberwolves channel on iHeartRadio and tonight on FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
The Power Hour continues at KFAN.com/watch. It's all thanks to Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed.
You made it, Zachary.
You did it, Zachary.
You did it.
That was...
Well, Matt from 7th Avenue Pizza got here in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
He beat you by a
and
mile.
made us a pizza.
Yeah. While he was driving, he made a pizza.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. It was incredible. Never seen anything like it.
One of those mobile pizza ovens.
Yeah.
I got to get one of those.
It does,
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
it?
really good.
Hey, Ben,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a football question.
No. Yeah.
real quick. And I can't remember if I asked you or if I just mentioned it in passing. So if I already asked you this, please answer it as if I didn't. Because I feel bad about myself when my memory's so bad. And I can't take much more. That was way too deep.
Yep. So you're going to get to the question or no?
Weird.
Hold on, I'm having an existential moment. Is there something that Dan Campbell's doing that's hurting his players?
No.
You know what I mean? Is he making them play too long in blowout games? Are they practicing too hard during the week? Or is he taking chances he shouldn't be taking?
No.
I'm sorry if that's a silly question, but it seems like they're overly injured, man.
No, I don't think so. Listen, there was a time, what year was that? When we had, how many guys did we have like that blew a peck out?
54.
Oh, yeah.
1954? There was a year, maybe, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. It's like we had guys that like tore their pec. Like 3 guys or 4 guys tore their pecs. And they're like, what is going on? Now, that could have something to do with the way that they were training. But in this situation with the Lions off the top of my head, I mean, you've got a linebacker that broke his arm. You've got a cornerback that broke his jaw. You got another backup corner that snapped his leg the other day on a crossing route. You've got Aleem McNeil that tore his ACL. You got and then Hutchinson broke his leg. I mean, those are all just completely fluky, outside of the realm of strength and conditioning. It's just, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, such big time injuries that are going to keep these guys out for the rest of the season, just playing a violent game. That's just it.
Thank you for your honesty.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And no, to fix your, to make yourself feel better, you have not asked me that question. So it's not like you asked that question a week ago and then you forgot.
Thank you so much.
That happens.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right, let's do Fan 5.
You want to? Okay.
It's time for Fan 5, brought to you by Builders and Remodelers.
Thanks, Builders and Remodelers.
Thank you.
All right, just so we don't get bored because we've mentioned a lot of this stuff, let's just kind of fly through some of this. The Wild lost 6-1 to Florida. That's right, 6-1. Back-to-back losses now for the Wild. They have not lost 3 straight all season long. They do host Utah tomorrow at 7 o'clock right here on the Fan. Yuck.
Miserable night at the X for sure. The Aaron Ekblad, by the way, the catalyst of the game, thanks to Tom Reed. But other than that, yeah, the big concern right now, Brock Faber, about 30 seconds left in the game. There was a shot that he hit him right in the face. It dropped from his face. They ended up scoring a goal off of it, and he sprinted to the locker room, and that's all we know. So that would be obviously a major loss if he is out for even one game it would be.
So it was Star Wars night, correct?
Yes.
And they did the Darth Faber bit? Right?
Yeah.
What if he gets hit in the face and now for the rest of his career has to wear a Bane-esque Darth Vader mask
so cool.
to protect
know how to play hockey with this on.
to protect his face the same way Anakin Skywalker had to wear a mask.
There is some
Wouldn't that be
true
ironic?
irony here because, I mean, a lot of times they will go with the full face mask if there are facial injuries. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, it was just not unrealized panic.
Did John Hines at any point in the postgame check his metachlorian level to see how Faber was doing? And I have a question for you, Zach.
Sure.
What are metachlorians?
God, you hate that.
Hate it. One of the worst lines in movie history.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The only one that I hate as much as that is "No harm, no foul" from Gravity. Just the dumbest line ever written. No harm, no foul.
Love that
Oh
movie.
God.
Love it.
Tonight, Benjamin, Thursday Night Football, the Broncos at the Chargers. Both teams fighting for playoff spots, both likely to get in, but we'll see. The Chargers at home are 2.5-point favorites. The Broncos are 9-5. The Chargers are 8-6.
It's crazy to say that my money would be on the Broncos. They, to me, are trending the right direction. The Chargers, maybe not so much.
I'll take the Chargers at home.
Fine.
Okay,
What do you want? You want 50?
I don't want to force you into gambling.
No, let's do it.
All right.
All right,
50 bucks is
2.5.
fine.
Chargers are 2.5-point favorites.
$50.
Perfect.
So you have the Broncos
Yeah, I got the Broncos.
plus
You gotta-
2.5.
You got to have grease, right?
You don't have to.
What has happened to you?
It is
yes,
a word.
you do. Grease is the word. You have to gamble. Am I the only one that gambles
I think
anymore?
gambling
got a
ruins
problem.
families. I think it
I
is
have
risky.
a problem.
And I
Well, I
don't
do too.
think I don't think people should have money in the stock market either,
That's not
or
gambling.
401ks or crypto.
401 what?
A lot of K's.
Yeah, it's a lot of Ks.
Yeah, well, the goal is to just stack K units, so.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Lost.
All right, if you read this, please don't guess, because then it'll ruin it for everybody else. Damian Lillard yesterday agreed with Adidas to a lifetime deal. He's 34 years old. Damian Lillard and Adidas now connected for life. There are 3 other active players that have lifetime shoe deals. Can you name the other 3 active NBA players that have lifetime shoe deals?
LeBron
James with Nike is one.
Jordan.
Active players.
Kevin
Active
Durant.
players.
Kevin Durant with Nike is another one.
Steph Curry.
And Steph Curry with Under Armour. Max, you're good at this.
Thank you.
LeBron and KD with Nike, Steph Curry with Under Armour, and now Damian Lillard with Adidas. I didn't see the number on the Adidas deal, but the story that I read said if you combine his on-court and off-court, Damian Lillard's now $600 million plus.
Ooh, boy.
It's a good start.
I like him. He's like one of my faves.
Yeah,
I love Dame, man.
Yeah, Dame's great.
Yeah.
He's good stuff. It was good to see, even though it's just the NBA Cup, it was good to see him win something the other night.
And do you think people care less and less about that, Max?
I think it had some buzz going into it, but I just think the teams that got in. Well, first of all, I disagree. Maybe this is blasphemous. If it's going to be on a Tuesday night, it should absolutely not be in Las Vegas. It should be. It would have been. The scenes would have been so much better if it was actually in Oklahoma City or Milwaukee, and then the fans are riled up for it and everything. If it's going to be on the weekend, then you can have it in Vegas. But there was no vibe there at all on a Tuesday night, so it was bad. But I don't know. It's a weird thing. I think the players are starting to care a little bit more because you can tell that it means something to them. But I don't know if it's catching on with the fans yet. It doesn't seem like it. No, anybody really cared this year. Last year was just perfect coincidence because LeBron James happened to get into the very first one, so that definitely helps. And again, it was on a weekend. It was on a Saturday night, not a freaking Tuesday. So it's a really weird thing that they're doing with it, but it's catching on with the players, but it just doesn't seem like it's catching on with the fans. I didn't see anything about the numbers or anything yet, but I can't imagine that they were super impressive.
Can I be really petty about this?
Go ahead, Kyle.
From a fan perspective, the try hard thing with the court makes me not want to watch it because there are some court designs that I can't even look at it. I'm like, this is so distracting.
Some of them are really bad.
And it's so bad. And I'm like, why are they trying so hard with these court designs? Like, just stop. You know, sometimes subtlety and like simplicity is best. And I feel like I can't even aesthetically look at it on TV. Even if it's 2 teams I want to watch, I'm like, I can't. I just can't look at this on my screen.
Fair. I think the big mistake is I think the actual games up until the tournament sneak up on all of us. It'll be like a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, tonight's game's one of the games?
Yeah.
Like you don't even know when those 4 qualifying pool games are until the last second. Maybe if you're an absolute diehard, you know which 4 they are, but the rest of us is like, oh, I guess when I turned on the TV, that court was weird.
Yes, correct.
So tonight must be one of our games. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with moving that semifinal and final back to a weekend. And they need to turn that into like almost like a destination thing where even if your team's not in it, maybe you just plan on every year going to Vegas that weekend. It can't be in Vegas on a Tuesday. That was
a great point.
Awful to see, and there was no energy compared to specifically the teams that were in it. If it was in Oklahoma City, I mean, those fans show up for a game against the Charlotte Hornets. So an NBA Cup game, the energy would have just been through the roof.
That's a great point, Maxo.
Thank you.
What if they played a different sport?
Like?
Couldn't hurt.
I don't know, like slap ass.
My God.
Don't tell me you never played that.
They hung your jersey up in the rafters for that.
Yeah, you'd be a Hall of Fame.
Sauce, you and
You're
Chris.
the Kareem of slap.
You and Chris are in a garage having beers, so you're probably at Muss's house.
Yep.
And Chris, right before he has a heart attack that he didn't see coming, says, I got this new idea for a game. It's called Slapass. But then he drops dead. So his legacy is now in your hands.
Yeah, man, please
You're
be
the
good.
commissioner of Slapass.
Yeah, come on, man.
How did he die?
How does the I just said he had a heart attack out of nowhere.
Yeah, you know what happened.
I was just listening. I was listening. I just wanted to hear how my friend died.
I want to slap you.
So anyway, now Chris's entire legacy is in your hands.
Yeah.
You're the commissioner of Slapass. You don't even know the rules, but you have to quickly come up with something that's groundbreaking. What is Slapass and how does it work?
You get a bunch of people in a room. You turn the lights off. And you just go around and you slap slabs. Everybody is signed a consent form. And PA wins every time.
You want to hear groundbreaking?
So this is not a competition, or it is? You said PA wins, but how does he score points?
You slap slabs.
So it's the most slabs slapped?
Yeah.
But it's in the dark, so how does anybody keep track of score? It's an honor system? PA just says, I slapped the most?
No, there's judges with night vision on.
Okay.
Is it like Heads Up, 7-Up, and you have to guess who slapped your slabs?
Yes. Yeah. And everybody's slabs has a bell on them.
By the way, everybody peeked at Heads Up 7.
Oh, of course.
Everybody looked through their fingers.
You try to look at their shoes.
Or you looked at their shoes.
Yes.
You slid back just far enough where you could look down at their shoes. Nobody had honor
But
in the
boy,
game Heads Up 7-Up.
You want to see a giddy young Ben Lieber back in the day when they announced word, all right, guys, we got just enough time to play Heads Up, 7-Up. I was like a fat kid at a buffet.
Yeah,
It was
the best game
best.
ever. Way better than Slapass, which, by the way, has already failed. Thank you for ruining Chris's legacy.
I can't believe it, man. And we played PPRC where I grew up because we couldn't afford 7-Up.
Brilliant. RC's still around, right?
In Chicago, that's all they serve.
Yeah.
At Soldier Field. That's the only thing they serve.
That's gross.
Why?
Do you think I know?
I mean, but hold on.
You don't know the inner workings of
Time out.
the Soldier
Time
Field
out.
beverage contract?
Let me start over. This is something Zach would know the answer to.
I think RC is based in Chicago, and I think
Royal Cola, right?
Yeah, Royal Crown. Which I don't know why I know that, but I do.
See?
The Saints, actually, at Midway Stadium, that's what they served for the longest time, and then when they moved to CHS Field, they did the right thing and got Coca-Cola, but that's my last experience with RC. I don't know if I've actually seen RC in the wild.
RC Cola originated in Georgia.
Georgia?
Oh, God, great song.
Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they don't
Royal
have
Crown is
Chicago
correct.
connections.
Oh, yeah.
Did they move to Chicago?
I just remember it being big down there.
According to this, it got popular because Chicago pizzerias.
Okay.
There you go.
It don't taste good.
So, by the way, a couple
don't
final
taste
questions
good.
about Slapass.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So you said the judges have night vision. How is this a spectator sport? Do people buy tickets to this? Is this broadcast? and you
Everybody
have to-
that shows up gets night vision. The only people without night vision are the people that are playing.
And the weirdest thing is the losers get night helmeted.
Yeah, the losers do get night helmeted
Yeah.
in the center of the court with all the lights on.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a dangler across
And by
their
court,
forehead.
he doesn't mean like basketball court. He means Judge Wapner's court.
Yep. It's yep.
Wapner's one of the judges with night vision.
He definitely
Yep,
is,
yep.
which is tough because he's
Bull
dead.
is there too.
Yeah, Bull is there because Hawk loves that show.
I like tall
So two guys
that
who
look
were
like
dead.
winners.
Bull's dead?
Sure.
Hey, Hawk,
Hey,
I just want to apologize for your legacy because
Yeah, I know.
I don't think that's what you had in mind.
Not at all. And it's just it's sad. And even as a dead man, I'm sad.
Dead Chris Hockey's going, the guy meat sauced it. He
Man.
just said, turn off the lights and let's all slap asses.
okay.
Yeah.
And again, the
but hold
only
on.
person who
He is
volunteered
right,
was
though.
Paul
PA's in the Hall
Allen.
of Fame.
Hold
He's
on.
right.
I was the only one who was asked to come up with an idea, and you caught me off guard.
But you were the one that was in the garage when Chris died and said, please carry on my legacy.
We were too busy smooching. We weren't coming up with
You were
ideas.
spooching?
Smooching, yeah.
a dead man? What is spooching?
No,
mean?
It sounds disgusting.
Muzz still has. We were spooning and kissing. Spooching.
You don't know how to spell kiss.
Which is another weird thing to picture. Like, are you just kissing the back of the person's neck? Or are you
Yeah.
actually going lip to lip? How do you go lip to lip if you're spooning?
The heat in Muss's garage is no longer, so we all had to stay warm. So I was in the middle because I have the most body weight, and I held them like this.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, you
Look
weren't
outside.
there.
It's
You're in the middle of a human
snowing
centipede.
Sideways out there, man. That is a real, honest to goodness snowstorm.
That's a real spoocher out there.
Brilliant.
Wow, hard R.
Man, we're going to need the spooch.
Headlines next. The show can't get any worse, I promise.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings
The new and improved free iHeartRadio app is finally here, just in time for the holidays. And it's everything you love about radio in the palm of your hand. The live radio dial, presets, scan, even lyrics. And iHeartRadio has all your favorite artists, playlists, and podcasts too, anytime, anywhere. It's our holiday gift to you. Get the new and improved free iHeart